there.
I didn't
It's to
realize
Ski's
it
house.
was higher, so it's, I mean, yesterday when I looked, it was 36.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's, 26. You think it's so much warmer, but it.
Oh, but yeah, it's a lot less humidity, so that you don't feel the cold as much as you do here. It's got great food, and a really neat. It's really kind of unique city.
I was looking last night about there's like Jeep tours and there's train tours, and I'm not getting on a horse.
Well, I was there for a convention. Somebody said, "Oh, you want to here for balloon? Hot air balloons?" Oh, yeah. I'm not really sure. So I went. It was amazing. Just all the different
The crystal
balloons.
clear sky.
Yeah.
Which I didn't. And that would be.
Ordered it.
The storage unit?
Yes.
Did you bring copies of your financials? I got your email last night,
Oh, good.
and it was we don't have the ability to open Google Docs, so
Get a look at it.
yeah, we'll take care of it with the hearing. I just want to make sure you had those.
Looks good.
I was taking a walk. Sorry, my wife and I were in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And the notice came that I had it. So I closed one. This one. Wait, they still had notice for this, but
Yeah, we sent them out in January. So you should always look online in first part of January, because if it got lost in the mail, it's not.
yeah, exactly.
That's not on us. That's
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
you would be one taking it on the chin, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
that's
'Cause
what
you don't really send them certified.
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it would be just too costly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I tell everyone to, especially when your
I've been checking
assessments.
all the time. You know, it's so. I mean, I built the facility.
Yeah.
Really only had to go through this a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
sounds like you're changing your policies. Like,
we reviewed every one of them in the city this year, but
what a lot of work that is.
yeah, I learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's so many properties. Right? So you're just.
There's 7 of them in the city, 8.
Hey.
No, like storage units.
Oh, sorry. You mean inside the city itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you here
Yeah,
for
when I go
Manson?
here,
Yeah. If you could just.
there was one in Liverpool, there was one in Syracuse.
Spencer Road.
Spencer Street.
That one's
the
pretty
Hiawatha.
old.
That was right.
No, there's one on Hiawatha Boulevard, and there's one on Spencer Street.
And that's been there for a while too.
Yeah, I think that's probably built in like the 60s
60s,
or
yeah.
so. I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah, so that won't be so bad.
Yeah, we'll go through the hearing today, and then I'll tell them, once we have your financials, we'll review them, and if we agree, then but I'll go over that in the hearing, so it's on record. But we just didn't have it, I got it last night, and I couldn't even open it, so.
Oh, yeah.
But,
But,
yeah, no.
Actually, I was gonna have it.
We'll review it, and if it makes sense,
We'll get back.
we'll get back to you.
What kind of timeframe is it?
It'll be next week, yeah. If we agree with what you have, yeah.
I also brought the open part.
I don't have that, but I don't need that for it.
You won't need that.
No, what I really would like to see is
Just,
your
I
finance.
just want to see my finance.
Yeah. But we'll get after that. Mr. Saya running promptly as usual.
Thank you.
I just assumed it was from Sue. My wife bought my kids' teacher's crumble cookies. I don't know, heard of them? Yeah, so she brought some home last night. They're gone.
You have to remortgage
Yeah,
your
they're,
house?
what's that?
You have to remortgage your house?
That's what I asked her. How much you,
That's-
I go, how much you spend on these? She said, you don't want to know. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like a cross between like a cake and like a fudge. I wouldn't want them all the time, but they're.
No.
They even sell the cutters, like, so you can break it into like 4 or 6 pieces.
I was so confused going in there, the
Yeah,
way you
yeah.
have to order.
If you want to try more than one,
I only went there once.
Meg Ryan's a big fan. Yeah.
Tom Johnson.
I thought he liked. I thought he liked the ones on Marshall Street.
Huh?
He liked the ones on Marshall
I like
Street.
those.
Humble's the one on Erie Road.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's Insomnia cookies on
Insomnia
Marshall Street.
with our,
Yeah,
like,
those are good
quarter
too.
cookies.
Yeah,
What's it called?
Insomnia cookies. It's on Marshall Street. So.
I like to go to Varsity.
Don't go when school's in session.
Varsity Pizza, and then over to Insomnia for cookies.
Good, Joe. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, February 14th. This is the Syracuse Board of Assessment Review. It's about 9:13 a.m., and we'll do a roll call. My name is Joe Saya.
Sue Straub.
Bill Ryan.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a reminder, these meetings are recorded and videotaped, and they can be viewed on YouTube while we're in session and probably thereafter. Any session that we're in during February and March, just an FYI. Okay, so let me call 2321 Erie Boulevard East. Okay, if you want to come on up and have a seat. How are you this morning? Good. How are you doing? Good, thanks. Always running late, so my apologies, and to the board as well. So what I'm going to do is, we always swear the assessor in first thing as well. So I'm going to swear you both in, and then I'm going to read some information in about the property, and then I'll turn it over to you. We'll go to the assessor, then I'll come back to you, and, just informal conversation. Just looking for some information as to why you think it's should be assessed at what you're thinking. This is an assessment situation, no exemptions. Yeah, regular. Okay. All right. So if you could raise your right hands, both of you. State your name for the record.
Douglas Caesar.
Joseph Lesno?
You both swear to tell. I'm sorry. Do you both affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
I do.
I do.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Once again, this is 2321 Erie Boulevard East. This is an access self-storage facility, okay? And we have a current tentative assessed value of $3,277,000 with a land value of $321,000. And so on this application, I think I read some that said something. Okay, so a couple things. And when you say full application, or maybe it was oh yeah, okay, it's just the one page. I thought the rest of this was. So do you have, we need a full application. All we have is the front page.
I have.
And we'll make a copy.
This I sent out last time. That, and then this is the application here I signed.
All right, let's see.
And then this is the attached financials.
Okay, because there was a note on that, unable to open income expense attachment, no Gmail. Okay, so that's what that was. And do you want to make a copy of this?
I can, yes.
Only because I assume you would want a copy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a copy, but
okay.
you don't have to make one for me. I have 2 copies.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. So this is ours to keep.
Yeah, all that you can keep.
Beautiful. Okay, so once again, let me read the numbers in again. Current tentative assessed value, $3,277,000 with a land value of $321,000. So the petitioner believes the fair market value is $2,101,717. So is it possible to get an assessed value on that? $2,101,717.
What was the claimed assessed value?
Claimed market value is $2,101,717. And I think we have an equatable assessed value of $1,208,487. $1,208,487. 28 cents, just to be exact.
You didn't get to see that. You weren't able to open this either.
No.
Because this is a copy too. That helps.
Yes, that would help for the
I don't
assessor.
have 2 of those though. That income expense.
Okay.
You want to take it? You might want to get.
Yeah,
another
I'll,
copy of this.
he can give
Yeah,
us
the only
back.
thing I need is, the only thing I would like is this.
That one.
Okay.
I have, that's the body of the email, I have that.
And you'll, when you're done with that, Joe, we can get it back in the
Just,
file.
why don't you keep it in the folder and then.
Okay, and then you-
It's not lost.
You can extract it,
Right.
right?
And we know we have for 2024. That's 2023 and 2022. So it's
Okay.
not compiled yet. But it's going to be somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let me just flip through, see if there's any other information in here. And, okay, we have the cap rates. Okay, and then if you could just pull the,
Mike?
yeah, just a little bit,
Like that?
just in case, that's perfect. Just from the YouTube scenario, it's a little
Okay.
bit easier.
So it's filming from up there?
I believe so.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and there's
You have your
also-
own YouTube channel? Well,
Yeah,
I
we
see.
will.
Yeah, that does. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
we will, if you're, do you have that? Yeah, there's a gal that's absent today, but we think we can get that address for you.
Okay.
So,
You
yeah,
can just Google, or go to YouTube and Syracuse Common Council, and
Yeah,
it'll come up.
it'll come up. Okay.
Syracuse Common Council?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so with all that, was this a raise-in assessment?
This was a property class review of all the mini storage in the city.
Okay, all right, very good. All right, so hence, the reason for your appearance. What, can you tell us about this, when it was built?
Yeah, I think I built it. I'm just getting used to this amplification. I built it in around 88, 89, got half of it done, and then the other half the next year, and I've been managing it ever since.
Excellent.
Yeah,
How many units?
there's 552.
And, yeah, I'm sure I've driven by it many times. 2300 block, about where is that?
Yeah, it's right between Midler and Teal.
Okay.
We're closer to Midler. There's the car wash right next to us on one side, and the Salvation Army
Yes.
place.
All
That's
right,
sort of
so
right
that's
next to us
the
there.
right,
When I built, none of that was there. It was this is an old factory of some sort that had burned down and been badly demolished, and was there for maybe 20 years, sitting fallow until we came in. And then some of the development started to move that way because there wasn't much from Midler back towards the city at that time on our side. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Great location, of course. What's the occupancy?
We'd run anywhere between, on an annual basis, between, say, 85 and 92%, something like that, when things are going well. And then in years where there's problems or too much competition, we might get down as low as, 80, 84%. So it fluctuates depending on the market.
That's a
And
good
we've had a lot of
percentage.
building, we've had periods in Syracuse since the time I've owned it where it got kind of overbuilt. Too many developers came in, and then occupancy went down, and then it caught up because in self-storage over the years, per capita needs for storage have been slowly going up.
Excellent. Okay. Joe, one other question. I think there's a place on Teal Ave near Court. What's the other locations?
Well, in the last 3 or 4 years, you know where Sam's Club is? Used to be on Erie Boulevard. So that's been converted relatively recently. Cube Smart, maybe. But anyway, that one's been converted, so we have that one. And then around the corner, there's the U-Haul that has a building there that they've recently
Yes.
finished, maybe in the last 5 years.
Yes.
And so those are the two closest to me. Then out Basil Row, out in Easter. Well, that's not a part of the city, I don't think, right? That's
No,
part
that's
of Easter.
okay. That's
yeah, but
irrelevant.
so there's that one there. There's one up in Liverpool, and there's one in Hiawatha Boulevard. And then you brought up the Spencer property.
Ainsley, there's the one they just built on North, is it the Hiawatha Boulevard, or by the stadium?
Yeah,
Baseball stadium, they just built one.
Yeah, interesting.
yeah. And then there's one on the hill
There's
too.
one on the Erie Boulevard East, they just built this year.
Yeah.
Some of them are interior, this one's
Yeah.
exterior.
Exterior. Okay.
That we've seen more interior lately.
Yeah.
And less
The,
exterior.
I think the U-Haul is interior.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it used to be exterior, and then they did a whole revamping and built that new building.
Yeah, they just probably built it in
5
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a nice looking building.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah.
The,
I developed one in in Utica before the one in Syracuse, and there was a U-Haul right across the street there that hadn't built one yet, and then we built, and then they decided to put in like 30,000 square feet. Yeah, it's pretty competitive, and then these big developers like the Nationals will come in and build, and they oftentimes will overbuild, so once it rounds hurt for a while until it catches up, the demand catches up.
Yep. The, how many locations do you own?
Two, just the one in Utica and the one here. And it looks a lot like same kind of buildings. It's right at Lamont Place,
In
just in Hartford, just near the line of Hartford and Utica. Yeah.
Okay. All right, excellent. Joe, so again, you reviewed all of these mini storage locations and hence the increase. Do we know what it was prior to this? Just curious.
It was 1,293,400
Assessed value?
assessed value prior.
Okay. All right, so a pretty good jump then.
Right.
Okay. When was the last time? Probably it wasn't. Probably never looked at.
Part of
Oh,
it,
no, it was reviewed.
not in the last 5 years.
No, not in the last 5. I'm thinking 12, 15. I lose track of time, but yeah, somewhere 12, 15 years, something like that. Actually, a similar thing happened where they put our taxes up quite a bit, like this one, a little bit of a shocker when you open it up. But then we came in and we reviewed it, gave them our information, and then they brought it back down to approximately where we were before, a little above it. Yeah, in that same range.
Okay. So what feedback do you have based on, is that the income and expense, that's new information then?
The financials, we would like to review, and if there's room, we'll make a recommendation next week.
Okay.
We'll write a letter. But based on sales, there's one that just sold in Henry Clay for $6 million, smaller. That is 346 units. It is a newer facility, but similarly well-traveled street. There's not a ton of comps in the Syracuse, Onondaga region. We gather a lot of our information or data from outside the region.
And I would think that's okay for this type of business.
Right, yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
So we did rely on a lot of sales, and then we also tried to recreate income and expense statements based on the information we had. That's why we'd like to review his particular and make sure it makes sense in the context of what we think is appropriate for a typical storage unit. So that's kind of where we're at this point.
Okay. All right. No, that's fair. Okay, so they're going to look a little further based on the information that sounds like you supplied prior, but they weren't able to open.
I received it last night,
Yeah,
and it was in a format I couldn't open on my computer. So
okay.
the hard copy's there, so we'll pull that.
It was the clerk, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle, okay.
Yeah, no, we were kind of late in this because I got it late and was trying to put together, the information for you. I would like to have gotten there faster. In evaluating storage facilities, I don't know anything about the one you just said that was sold, but I think that sometimes the national public storage, whoever it is.
Where are you pulling that information from, that statistic?
Which ones?
The cap rates you,
Oh, the cap rates through the internet. I got on the internet, searched around, saw that.
is there a particular publication?
Nah, I mean, I could get you into self-storage information, but bottom line is that throughout the country, I saw it somewhere between 5 and 10 was the cap rate that's used, broadly speaking.
Yeah.
And then here in the Northeast, they're lower numbers. They tended to be somewhere between, over, say, a 10-year period, something like between 5.6 and 6.2 or something. And then very specifically for 2024, there was some information that said it's running in the Northeast, not just here in Syracuse, just Northeast, but running somewhere in the neighborhood of 5.9 to 6.0, which is why I used that on this.
What type of rent do you get per square foot typically?
Well, over the years it's gone up, but for instance, a 10 by 10 storage space right now is $115. So it's a little over $1.
And then about $2 a square foot for the smaller
well,
ones?
Yeah, I mean, on a yearly basis, we're
Yeah.
talking, yeah.
Well, just monthly rent.
Yeah, the month,
About
so the
$2
monthly one's
about $2 a square for like a 5 by 10.
Yeah, it's 100 square feet. It's $115. So per month, it's a little over $1, right? Because
Right.
$1 would be 100.
Right.
So it's maybe, I don't know, $1.10.
I'm just trying to make sure
$100.
my understanding of what things are going for
Yeah.
is what, but
Yeah.
So like a 5 by 10, would that be like,
Those are 7.
would
so
it be
they
like
get
$2
cheap-
a square foot for those?
Yeah, 5 by 10 is 50 square feet, and we get 70 for that.
Okay.
So, and then as you get up and get bigger, like, it
Right,
goes
it
down
economies
per
of scale,
square-
yeah, yeah.
It goes down per square foot, and then depending on the facility, like the one up on the hill that they built near for the students, it's
Yeah.
up closer, has a whole lot of small spaces.
Right.
To kind of accommodate, and then we have more of a broad,
How many of your units are the 10 by 10s?
10 by 10s are maybe 90, 90-ish. We have like 130 or 140 5 by 10s. And we have very few, less when you get to the bigger spaces, like 10 by 25s, maybe have 38 of them, 39 of them, and then 10 by 30s, maybe, I don't know, 18.
Any interior units?
Yeah, we have one building that has no doors on the outside,
Yeah.
and then it's insulated on the ceiling, and then there's 2 kind of walkways that you can get into, 3 doors, one at each end. And
How
then
many
one
are in
side.
those?
That one has like 20, about 20. There are 20 buildings.
You have 552 units.
Yeah, over 20 buildings.
Okay. All right.
That's good size.
Yeah, it's good. So, I mean, it's not the biggest around here, but it was at the time as big as them. Usually, like a big storage facility, if you look around, up in upstate, you would see that our size, when you get up into 60 to 70,000 square feet, they sort of start to tail off there. You might get some that are 80, 90. And then you get it in smaller areas, they'll go down to 20,000, 30,000, and then even
Yeah,
rural.
I'm just trying to understand the makeup of your
Yeah, the unit mix. And the unit mixes change depending on what you're serving. So where I am, we serve a certain amount of commercial customers, contractors that need to have their storage, a place they can get at it easily. We're convenient,
Yeah.
so people can get at it.
And speaking of that, is it fenced in? How do people get in?
We're fenced in. We have a gate that you operate. You get a code when you go in, and there's barbed wire, which we had to get a variance for back then. And so it's not easy to get in and out of if you don't have a code. And then we have cameras, so you pictures of people coming in. And fortunately for us, when I first built, we didn't have the police department kind of moved in down near Teal. I don't know if you know, that's the area where all the cars come in.
Yeah.
And their presence has been good for us because they come into our lot all the time and kind of stop there before they leave for the day. And so they're a presence at our facility, which is great. We had less problems since they moved in.
Yep. And when they come, they don't go in, but in front of the gate?
Yeah, they just come.
or-
We have a big blacktop area where you can come in and park a truck or something. And they so it's just, are you familiar with the police station? Yeah, so, as you're coming down Erie, ours is maybe, I don't know, quarter mile from where he's going to turn in. So at the end of their day, they'll come in and kind of pull over, maybe do a little paperwork,
Yeah.
hang around there.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. Does it, do you have enough information, or did you want to walk?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to look at what his actual numbers are, and, if we agree that we're excessive, we'll make a recommendation or stipulate, and we'll write a letter to both you and the board.
Okay,
To that effect.
And so you don't feel that you need to do a walkthrough or anything?
No, I mean, it's a pretty open facility. There's one building that I didn't know, because I was counting all the units from aerial images. So the interior one is the only building that I wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't know what was inside. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, I would say, in some, when you're appraising some buildings, you're appraising them on, especially if they're not income buildings, you're sort of appraising them on a number of things, like how much would it cost to build it, or
Right.
the last guy to build it. In the case of self-storage, once you put one of these in, like we have here, it's pretty hard to change the use.
Right.
You would have to, so we're paying, I don't know what, 52,000 in taxes right now on property taxes here at this property, and our income is a little over 500,000. So it's a pretty big chunk of
Right.
what we're paying right now. And yeah, so this method that we're using, I think, is reasonable and accurate.
Yeah, we'll take a look, and then, like I said, confer with my colleagues, and we'll see, what his actual numbers are.
Okay, great. And if we are in agreement, then you just change the assessment, and if there's,
Well, it depends on if we think we're appropriate, then it would be up to the board to decide.
oh, I see. Okay,
If we think we're high, we would offer you what we think it should be. If you agree with that number, then we would stipulate, and then the board would sign off on it. If you disagree with what that we would, then it would go to the board.
for the board.
And we would then recommend to the board the number that we offered to stipulate to. So they would have that information when they were determining what they think the value is.
Sure.
But that's kind of how that would go
From here.
yeah.
I did have one other question. Oh, yeah, so after we got this, I was spending some time doing a little research, trying to find out what was going on. I saw that you guys have started this reval of the whole city, right? Of all the properties in the city? And I thought this was part of that, but.
No, this is
not
a
quite
review
yet.
of the property class,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of reasons why we did it, but it needed to be, in our estimation, it needed to be
You need
done.
to take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then, so after we're done with this and we get this done, does that mean we'll go again through the reval here if it's being done?
Yeah, it would be reviewed again through the
Again.
reval, yes.
But would it be, since you've just reviewed it? would it
I
go
can't
through-
answer that.
Oh, you don't, yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
gotcha.
too many factors involved in that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Yeah,
enough.
it'll be looked at, yeah, it's just because that's an undetermined
It's
timeframe right
two,
now.
three, at the earliest, it's probably 2-3 years away.
Gotcha.
Who knows what things are gonna look like.
Yeah, and when I was reading that, it's like, okay, so your taxes won't change until whatever it is, until 2028. But in this
Yeah.
case, this is a different thing here, right? When
From my perspective, I don't look at your tax bill.
Yeah.
I understand your,
Well, I do, yeah.
yeah, I understand how you look at, I'm looking strictly at the assessment.
Yeah, I got you.
That's what I care about, that's what that's
I
what
understand.
our office does,
Yeah, sure.
that's what we're trying to get right.
Sure, yeah.
How it
Yeah.
affects your taxes, that's for your common counselors, that's for
Yeah,
the
sure.
mayor's office, that's
Oh,
for,
yeah. Yeah, oh, I think the reason that on income properties, they use sort of cap rate, because that to afford a property, you sort of, the taxes have to be in line with what makes sense from an income expense standpoint.
right, that's
Or
why,
else
and
you
that's
can't make it
why,
fly,
that's why we'll review what
Okay.
your income and expenses are.
Very good.
All right.
Anything else?
No, if you're good and Joe, then, as he said, as far as the process, and then ultimately, first week of April, the city will send you a letter as to what the determination is.
And any communication I send to the board, I will also
Yeah, you have my
write.
email, right?
Yeah, I'll write a letter and I'll send that to the board and I'll give you a copy.
Perfect. Well, thank you very
So
much.
if you then, we're just signing off on it, and that's that.
Good enough? Thanks again.
Yep, have a great.
All right.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. This year. Yeah, have a seat, I'll be right with you.
Yeah, are you Mr. Jasper? Yeah, if you could just come in and just initial that you're here.
Care of what we needed to take care of with him. From a standpoint. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So you're here for,
Well, two, my townhouse and my garage. I did,
I'm sorry, you're here for 2?
yeah.
Did you fill out 2 forms?
No, I did one form.
We would need a form for each property.
Okay. I only made 3 copies of these. I don't know if they're helpful or not helpful.
You guys can, I don't.
Oh, okay.
all right, let's,
Put down.
okay, so, yeah, all right, so let's figure this out first.
Okay.
So we have 112 Lamson Street
Right.
rear on here. What is that?
That's my garage. Oop,
That's your garage? And then you're also wanting to grieve your townhouse?
Right, I'm a little confused about that. What I saw online and what I saw that I received as far as assessment. So some of this may just be my own confusion about how it works, okay? So the first part is that,
Let me,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to swear you in, but how do we
Okay.
want to handle this?
Well, we need agreements.
Okay.
It's up to you. If you want to hear the case and then we'll fill out the form afterward, that's fine with me, but we do need a form filled out
Okay,
for
so
the,
that's something where she'd go downstairs?
Or I can mail it in.
I would prefer that she fills it out
Okay.
before she leaves.
Okay, all right, so.
No
we'll-
problem.
All right, so I'm going to swear you in, and then we'll talk about the townhouse and the garage.
Okay,
And then before you leave, we'll have you fill out a form for the townhouse, because apparently we have one for the garage already. Okay, so, yep, I got that.
It's really one economic unit, so it's really, my approach was to talk about them both together because of how we,
Right.
so it's really just, I don't think we need to separate them as far as our conversation.
Okay, but
It's-
you need a
but, yeah,
different.
but because they're two separately addressed parcels, then we need two forms. But it's essentially one economic.
For conversation's
Right,
sake.
yeah.
That makes 100% sense.
And I printed out an aerial just so it might make sense to, if you,
they have a copy too.
of the overall.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
it's in black and white. I took it off the website.
all right, beautiful. I'm just going to hand these out for now. Excuse me. Okay, let me swear you in. If you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
Shallon Wagner?
Do you affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so I think we've got that ironed out. And so let me read in, so what's the address of your townhouse?
3401 James Street, number 16.
Okay, so 3401 James Street, number 16 is the actual townhouse.
Right.
And then
The garage is
112
up.
Lamson Street rear is your garage?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So at least we got the address. When you're speaking about it, you can,
Together, okay.
Together is fine.
Sounds good, thank you.
so for the garage, we have a current tentative assessed value of 5,000 with land value of 5,000. And the property, the owner's estimate of fair market value is 0. And so, again, we can take it in the
Together.
macro, if you will, as far as that's concerned. If you had to put a figure on the garage, do you know what you think it might be worth?
Well, I guess my question is, like, my deed includes my garage.
Yeah,
So
okay.
when you're assessing my house,
I think it's just because there's two separate tax
Parcels.
parcel numbers.
Right.
So why don't we go ahead and, do we know, so we don't know what her house is,
Yeah.
the townhouse is assessed for? or we do?
95,000.
95,000?
yeah, so that's where I get confused. Because then when I go on here, it says 225,000.
That wouldn't help your case.
Okay, all right.
So I have sales, essentially what the city is saying is, and the way I value this property is, I just looked at sales for your unit because
Right.
the sale prices included your garage.
Right,
And then at the end, I just apportioned a part of what I felt was the overall value to the garage.
okay, so you took
I'm
it out.
saying your house is assessed for $100,000, which with our with our equalization rate is $173,913.
Where does that show up?
That's how, so on your form there,
Yeah,
see how it says, what is that one? Is that the unit or the garage?
this is,
That's your,
that's the unit.
so the equalization rate
Here's the,
is a reflection of the level of our assessments.
okay.
So if you divide .575 into the assessed value, you would arrive at what the full market value is, which is what the document you had over there that said it was for, your unit's
Okay,
worth.
so it's 173,
Yeah, so if you add your unit assessment of 95,000 and your garage assessment of 5,000, it's 100,000. Now, if you divide that by 0.575, it would be 173,913. And
Okay.
that's what, when I was reviewing the assessments of you and your neighbors, that's the number that I'm saying your unit was worth. And then
Right.
I subtracted off a portion of that and put it on the garage.
Okay.
What the garage is worth independently, I don't really care because it would never sell separately. I'm just, the
But
total is what I was worried about.
Right, let me ask you technically, though, because it's a separate issue, can somebody sell their garage to somebody else?
I suppose,
Yeah,
I don't know,
That's-
that would be a question more for a real estate attorney. I don't
Yeah.
know what restrictive covenants are in your deed.
there isn't on that. I mean, I
Yeah.
went to the HOA meeting and
Because-
said, we need to put something in.
Yeah,
Because
that would be,
technically
that would be
somebody
a
could.
question better directed towards a
Okay.
real estate
I was going to
attorney.
say, that's
Yeah.
where you would want to go.
Right.
And so you're saying that there's nothing in the HOA bylaws
Right,
that says that you can't do it. Oh,
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
well,
they're going to address that.
Right, okay. All right, so, all right, now I understand. So I was getting confused with all these figures, couldn't figure out what they were
You're getting
based
confused because
on.
it's confusing. Yeah,
Okay, good enough.
So the current tentative assessment on your garage and townhouse is the 173.
full market.
Oh, I'm
not-
sorry.
that doesn't
Current
include the
tentative
garage.
assessment is 100, 95 and
95
5.
and 5, yeah.
Right, okay.
95 and 5. Okay.
So you brought something up about 225 or something. I'm
Well,
not,
That's
This is-
that's just something she found on Zillow, not really.
No,
Oh,
no,
oh.
this was in Onondaga County. This was something I found when I went
See-
through. Because, in fact, it highlights that it says 237 for my unit. Now, maybe it is,
What
maybe,
website did
maybe
you-
I thought it was Onondaga County, but maybe it just ended up somewhere else.
This looks like to me something you found online, like something similar to like Zillow or,
Okay.
something like that.
I mean, I was looking all
yeah,
over the
I'm
place
not
and trying
exactly
to
sure
figure
with
it
that
out.
formatting, but that's not something
Yeah,
from,
from you guys.
right.
Okay, all right, that sounds fine. So the other question I have is regarding the garage, okay? It looks like the HOA pays the land tax
On the,
on all of it.
There's
because-
two-
Because the garages were added later on to the parcel.
there's two separately assessed parcels
Right,
so the driveway in the front
yeah,
and then
right.
the land in the back. I don't know if you guys, just so you can picture what we're talking about.
You have it in front of you, too.
So those, I think the one in the front, that might be in someone's name, but I assume it's part of the HOA.
Yeah, it is part of the HOA.
Okay, the circle.
The circle and then the garage in the back. So yeah, those would, I think, I have to go back and look, but I think one of the parcels is, you have like a 1/19th interest, the way it's. I think one is in
I'm
the-
assuming that.
I'd have to go back and look, but I think one of those common lots is, one is in the HOA's name and the other is in the name of all of the unit holders. Because if you went online.
I did see that.
If you
and
go
I-
online and look
Yeah.
and type in your name
Yeah.
and search by your name.
Right.
It's gonna have
Come
3
on.
hits.
Yes, it does. You're right.
And then if you go in and look at the one that's
Right.
the lot, it would
Yeah.
have,
It has a lot of people's
I think it
names.
has I think there's 19 units there.
Yeah, except it does, to be honest, it doesn't have all, and it has people's names who are
Well,
no
because
longer
I
living
think there's so
there.
many characters that we can put in, but if you went and pulled the actual deed,
That's right. The question I have is that if the HOA is being taxed on the whole land, are we just being taxed, am I just
On the
being, on
specifically-
the structure?
right, it's really just how it was developed.
Yeah,
Because there is a separately assessed parcel, or in other words, a tax map number associated with that property, we have to have a value associated with it.
right.
In how I arrived at the value, I was looking at the selling prices of the units over the last 3 or 4 years, and then
Right.
I just apportioned a part of it to the garage, just so it didn't read 0.
Okay, and do you realize there aren't 19 garages?
I'm not sure how many garages are
because these back here all have
Oh, yeah,
garages
yeah,
underneath.
underneath, yeah, yep, I do,
Okay.
yep.
Okay, so just for my clarity, the garage, I'm just being taxed on the structure, not the land.
Yes.
Okay,
It's,
because
The-
the land is being taxed to the HOA.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's really just what a garage in that situation would sell for. I don't have any data to support it.
I have no idea.
It's really just an apportioned value that I took from what I thought was the overall value between the unit
Mm-hmm.
and the garage, and I just put a figure on the garage itself.
okay,
And then, so essentially what I'm saying is your unit with the garage is worth $173,000 in the city's opinion.
okay.
And so I guess it brings us back to,
My confusion.
well, does it sound about right
Yeah,
as
it
far as the
does.
173?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. The comps are, what, 175, 165, 175. Now, Unit 14, which is 175, has like a three-car garage underneath it.
Okay.
So that's the.
Three-car garage that belongs with it.
With it, yeah, they're underneath. The back units all have garages underneath, which makes life easier for them.
Yes. Okay, so you've got the circle where it meets, these
That's right.
here.
That's right.
The back of the property is in where the garages are. Those, each unit, how many units are there along the back?
See, there's, let's see.
Just curious.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait a second, I have to go through it in my head who the people are. Oh, yeah, it'll be on there.
7?
Yeah, or is it 19, 12?
I count 7
Yeah,
along
that makes
the-
sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7.
So there's 21 spaces?
19 units.
No, I mean, you said three-car garage
Oh,
under each of these?
yeah.
So that'd be 21.
Well, except for they own it. It's just their garage. It's nobody else's. See, originally it was
right underneath
apartments.
them. Yeah.
And so when it was apartments, they, till 1953 or 54, and so everybody just parked there.
Yeah, as far as, those aren't separately assessed, so I don't, it really wasn't,
Right, so they're part
I
of
really
the-
wasn't-
in the.
yeah, it's part
property,
of the tax map number 4,
the unit.
it doesn't overlay like that, so.
So, but since we're doing our garages separately, should our units be lower?
Your unit, yes. If you go on and look, and then I believe I did is essentially because I assumed they were all very similar.
But they're not.
The interior finishes, I can't speak to that.
Okay. No,
But-
but what about the fact that there's
But
attached
if you go on and
garages?
look at price per square foot, those units should be higher than what,
Yeah, I don't think you did that.
I'll have to go back and review, but from what I remember,
You can lower ours.
from what I remember
I don't
when I
want
was
theirs to
doing,
go up.
when I was doing the
They'll be
facilities.
pissed at me.
Correct. I valued everything price per square foot, and then I just
Right.
subtracted off
Right.
the garages that were separate, and I just apportioned the value.
So I guess I would argue that mine and anybody else who has a garage, it should go down a little. So that it is
Based on
based on the fact that
Those that have the
yeah,
3 garages.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we can talk further on that, maybe.
I appreciate the explanation, because again, I was like looking at it and my head was spinning.
Yeah, no problem. So just going back to those 7 units with the 3 garages,
Mm-hmm.
when you do raise those assessments, would you put courtesy of Patricia Wagner on there?
You just scared me.
Well, they were all raised this year,
Oh,
so.
boy, all right, well, we'll send another
Well, maybe you
addendum to the
can
letter.
let ours go down a little.
But no, you bring up a point, and I'm glad we had this discussion, because,
Well, it's an odd space.
yeah, Yeah.
Oh,
and,
so the other piece of this, and I don't know what we do about this. So because I have two tax bills, I am going to, all of us who have the two tax bills with the garages, we're going to be charged the $100 for
Sidewalk.
sidewalks twice. Not you.
I mean,
What do I have to do?
Talk to your common counselor. They'd have to adopt a resolution to change the law.
Okay.
It's, the way the law reads,
Is every parcel number?
Yeah.
Gets charged $100 in
Right.
whatever district is, oh, that's
Right.
interesting.
And how do you get the parcel, can you get the parcel combined?
you'd have to talk to an attorney.
Okay, but you could.
I imagine you could. It depends on how,
I don't know whether it makes sense, but,
you,
Well,
you
yeah,
might
I
have to
mean,
gift it, to- you might have to transfer it to into the HOA,
right.
all the garages. So it's one parcel with 10 or 12, whatever, how many garages? But then
They'd have to add the
the
what they're
basement
getting
garage,
charged.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
taxes
that's, I
onto the
can't,
It's
HOA.
gonna
I
just
can't
probably
advise
too-
you on that.
yeah.
You'd have to talk to an
Yeah.
attorney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could
okay.
be too much in the weeds for the $100.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
Well, it would
Very
be,
valid.
it might be worth it to them because that would take 3, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, so I mean, that's like $1,500 a year that you would save
Who would save?
overall.
Yeah, okay,
Because
that's
they're,
what I was saying.
Because
each
we're
person
paying
with a
this-
garage.
Right.
is paying
So
100.
if they could combine it into one lot, that would take 10 or 15 or whatever it is.
That was 19.
No, there's 19, there's 21 units, but not all, some of the big garages are underneath.
Okay.
Oh, 12. So there's 12
1,200.
exterior separated garages. So those, essentially, if you were able to make it one lot, your sidewalk charge would go down $1,100
Right.
in totality.
Right.
So that's a question. If it's possible, you'd have to talk to an attorney, and that's something you and your neighbors would have to
Oh, so
agree
it-
on.
Okay, so in other words, not combining it with the front lot that everything's built
The
on.
more you can combine, the more you would
So
save.
just combining all of that whole property, which probably at one point it was. Because there
imagine
wasn't
at some point, yeah.
garages when they first
Yeah,
built
but
it.
that's
So
something.
one of two ways then, either the individual property owner could combine with their garage, or combine all the garages into one unit with the HOA. So it's, I guess it's a discussion to have at the next HOA
Right.
meeting, and then you'll really confuse everybody.
Yes, I will.
But,
You're absolutely right.
But it's,
You're going to have a few contingents, right? Some
Yeah.
are going to say, yeah, all right, it's worth it. It's $100 is $100.
Well,
And then
well,
others
and
will
it's
say,
every
it's
year.
too much
I mean, it's-
rigmarole. Right,
it's-
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, you save
it'll go on
$1,000
forever.
every 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, individually, yeah.
It makes sense to me. I just don't know if it's possible or if your neighbors would agree, but.
Well, yeah. I hear
Well,
you.
yeah, what you might want to do is maybe consult an attorney first, just to kind of see
See
what would
what
be
we have to do.
involved.
Yeah.
So, because that's going to be a question at that meeting when you bring it up,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Okay,
But that, so what I'm hearing then is you're comfortable with how Joe valued the, both units to get to that
well,
173.
I still would like it to go down.
Go down,
Given that,
because of the garage
garage, yeah,
situation.
Yeah.
The
Save me the
others,
$100.
yeah, the others that have the 3 garages underneath versus yours. Okay, so what I would do then is.
Fill the form out.
Fill the form out, but note that, please, somewhere on there.
I will.
And that'll refresh us when we get to the review.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And then ultimately, the city will send you a notice first week of April.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. How are you? You are here for 221 Avery. Okay. Have a seat. And appreciate you coming in today.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm just going to take a quick look-see here. Got the application basically in here and some comps from the city.
I'm gonna swear you in a second, but this, you were scheduled for coming in on 2/6, and then we rescheduled for today.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, if you could raise your right hand, state your name for the record.
David Jasper?
You affirm to tell the truth and give accurate information to the best of your ability?
I do.
Okay, very good, thank you. Okay, so this is 221 Avery Avenue.
Yes.
This is your home.
Yes.
Current tentative assessed value of 108,000 with a land value of 18,500. Okay, this was the one that we read in then, just because we weren't sure if you were going to come in or not. But we didn't, discuss. And then the petitioner believes the fair market value is 120,000.
So that would be the amount that, as you were explaining, is the fair market value, whereas you would then take a percentage of that to get your value.
Which would be 69,000.
Well, all I'm trying to do here is trying to prevent the assessed value from going up. And I know that you say that that doesn't really, directly correlate necessarily to a tax increase, but I think it does.
Oh, it can.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
can.
I think it will. So,
All right, so let's Joe, what was you're saying that ideally you would not want the assessment to go up,
I think it was $8,000.
okay, so let's hold that thought for a second.
Yep. It went up 2 years in a row. I missed the process last year. I purchased the house for like 36 or 30 something thousand dollars. If you look at the history, it's been sold for like under $30,000 for the last 2 or 3 owners. The house needed a new roof. It's a 3-unit. It's classified as 3 units, so I'm already paying more in taxes anyways, but it's not being rented. It needs updating and renovation.
All right, so the first point is that it's a bona fide legal 3-family.
Yes.
Where, you live in the first floor?
Yes.
All right, so you live in the first floor, and how are those other 2 units? Are they second floor side by side, or second and third floor, or?
There's one that's directly above me,
Okay,
and then there's one that's the other half of the house, so it's a larger one. Yeah, so I live.
Oh, I see.
I live in a 1-bedroom
you live in a 1-bedroom
downstairs in the first floor,
And
and
then-
then there's one above that.
that's a 1-bedroom?
It's going to be 2 bedrooms when they're finished.
Okay,
and
2
then
bedrooms, and then on the other
It's
side
2 bedrooms.
is 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Okay,
My
and is that
brother-
upper, lower?
It is.
Okay.
My brother currently occupies that,
Okay,
but he has been unable to pay rent. We've agreed on a small nominal amount. He can't pay it. He's been out of work. He does tree work.
if you could just push this up a little bit. So
Sorry.
we can-
He-
Yeah, it's okay.
He hasn't paid his rent in over 5 months.
Okay.
He's, applying for benefits and relief, and,
He's your brother.
he is.
All right.
I mean,
Enough
it's not
said.
even really rent. It's just contribute, please, to the expenses of,
Understood.
utilities and stuff.
And that's nice that you do that, and that's all that needs to be said about that.
When did you buy it?
2021?
2021, you paid around 36,000.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, so it sounds like you're remodeling the unit above you?
Yeah, it hasn't begun yet, so I did a lot of exterior work. It was under his ownership prior. It was in tax arrears.
Under whose ownership?
My brother's. So I purchased it actually from him. Yeah, it was like, he was going to lose the house from tax seizure. It needed a new roof. It was leaking. It had the cedar shake
Okay.
roofing. There's no boards. Like, it had 7 layers of shingles. Like, we had to re-deck the whole thing. Everything needed to be done there. It has really weird architectural, I think they had added on to it to make you know, it is the original house of that hill. It's from 1865, something like that. I think it was the original farmhouse. So it was a very small house. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on it. It has asbestos shingle on the outside. The pipes in the basement are all water, heat, so they have wrapped in asbestos material. You know, there's a lot that needs to be done in that house to bring it to what I would consider full value. So I see what you're saying. You look at the comparables in the area, and you know, I even think that those are a bit inflated. Like we've got these institutional buyers, we've got really big investors. It's a really hot market for real estate. Like, you know, people are paying 30 to 50,000 more than the value just to get cash, just to get a house in that area. So like if you look, yes, the property values have gone up, but I would say that it's an inflated or unrealistic, you know.
And or the condition of your property is not up to snuff, so to speak, is
Right.
what you're saying.
Yes.
Let me put you on hold for a second.
Sure.
So this was a look-see of the entire neighborhood, if you will. And so, were you aware of the current condition, or did you take that into consideration anyway? The full market value on 108,000 is 187,826.
Right.
And let me just look here for a second. I want to confirm. Okay. Okay. So, do we know what it was? The assessed value was prior to the raise?
Was 102.
Oh, it was 102. So raised $6,000.
Yeah, I don't know, it was raised 2 years in a row, and I don't know what the number, what assessment was in 2023.
Okay. Okay. So obviously a little bit lower than that. Okay. And what's your, so let me ask a few more questions. So if I'm looking at the house, you're on the right-hand side, and you're in a one-bedroom. There's one which is going to be a two-bedroom upstairs. And you said renovations haven't started yet on
Correct.
that? And what's your thoughts there?
Well, I want to take a loan out from the bank. I estimated it'll be like 70 to 80,000 or more dollars to renovate at least the place that I'm living in, the upstairs. You know, handle the pipes in the basement, dry lock the basement. You know, this would bring the house up in value. You know, obviously.
When do you aspire to do that?
I'd like to do it this summer, but you know, last year it was like the outside. We wanted to bring up the appeal in the neighborhood. It was kind of in disrepair.
What was done to the outside again?
It painted it, new roof, all the sidewalks, you know, and some landscaping, you know, just to make it better. It was, we replaced a couple windows that rotting frames, you know, like it really was in disrepair. And so that's why I figured you guys raised the value. You like drove by and saw it looked really nice, but the inside,
Yeah.
still has.
That never happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's a reval of a different areas every year.
Right.
Okay? And that's the city. We're an independent board.
Right.
So yeah, never, targeting or anything like that.
And we really, it might be the best looking house in the neighborhood now on the outside, you know.
And
But
now
that's
you're
a
gonna get to
huge
the
change.
inside.
Yeah, now you got to do something. And I would like to have the 3 apartments rented. You know, I see the potential for that, and you know, but for right now, it's not really making its costing. This is more of a liability than an asset at this point. You know, and so I'm just trying to mitigate that the best I can.
And as far as your brother's unit is concerned, that's
needs some updating also.
Right, so the plan would be to work on the two, move him into that, and then.
He's able to, no problem with the stairs and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he's so young and spry. Yeah, I mean, you look at me, he's
Unlike
6
us.
foot, he's 6 foot and like slender as a pole, so.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he got it, but, must be all those trees.
That's
You know,
right.
It's
There you
manual
go.
labor, but,
There you go.
I work a desk job, so,
I hear you. Hey, it's all right, keeps you warm.
yeah.
Okay, so Joe, any thoughts?
Not a ton of sales for three-family units up there. The ones we do have are good sales. They're 175, 176, 180, so pretty tight. You know, he's maybe on the higher end of the range of what would be appropriate assessment. You know, I would leave it up to you guys to decide, you know, if you feel a reduction based on the interior condition is in order.
And, again, your assessed value was 102.
Right.
Oh, okay, so 2 years ago, your assessed value went up, and then you didn't have an opportunity to come in.
Yeah, I think that when I purchased it, the assessed value was 88. That could have been because my brother had some sort of a NYSERDA or some other type of NYSTAR certification, which I'm not sure that's correct. So, but then it went up to the 102, and now again it went up. So all I'm here to do is say, you know, could we not raise it again this year? But you know,
Note that, you know, we throw out the sale from your brother to you, of course, you
Right.
know, non-arm's length. And,
right.
And so we revert to, the city reverts to comps.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
so we can't use that 36 as a number.
Right.
But, okay, all right, I think we've got some things noted as far as what's transpired and what you're looking to do. So we will take everything that you have said, and as well as the city, they gave us some comps to review as well.
Sure.
And we'll see what we can come up with to try to make, you know, everything work. And I guess the bottom line is, although, you know, three-family too, yeah, it's a nice asset, certainly, you know, from an income standpoint.
Sure.
So, you know, I don't dispute that it could see a value as to what the city's putting on it, but, you know, let's see what could be done based on the current condition and go from there.
Sure.
And then the city will send you a notice first week of April.
Great.
But yeah, appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
I
appreciate
the
your time.
information. Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem, thank you. That's everybody for today, Ann? Yeah. Okay, nobody else to read in, or Joe, thank you. Yep. Appreciate it. You noted, Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me just close up the meeting. Okay, thank you very much. That'll be all for today, and we'll be back in session on Tuesday night from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. Happy Valentine's Day.